guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for those who are new here, my name is Nicole. I'm now a 5th year kindergarten teacher, and today I'm going to show you kind of the ins and the outs of how I lesson plan for weeks at a time and just kind of how I do all of that, because I know one of the things that stressed me out when I was a new teacher was how to lesson plan, how to keep everything organized, and just save my mental stability and time because it was stressful. So I'm going to show you how I kind of set that up and do all of that. So if that's something you want to see, then just keep watching.
Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.
Okay, so the first thing I do want to say is I have been a very faithful planner person. I have always loved a planner because if it's written down and in front of me, I got it. But kind of last year, I switched to doing an online planner with Excel sheets, and I'm kind of loving it because my biggest pet peeve was I hated pencil eraser marks inside of my planner, and like you could see where it was previously was. I don't know, it bugged me, and so I had to change it. So it is now online, so let me go show you how I do all of that. Okay, so here is how I pretty much set it up. I love the fact that I use Excel sheets. I've learned how to do it, and honestly, I probably will never go back. So this is our first week of the second 9 weeks, which is happening pretty soon. So anytime that we don't have school, I like to make notes above it. So like on Monday, we have no school because it's fair day. Tuesday, we don't have school because of parent-teacher conferences. And then we'll start lessons back on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I break it up based off of the subject. So you have RLA in white, math in pink, science in green, and then blue is social studies. So here's the thing, we don't have enough time in the day to teach science and social studies every single day. So I normally do Monday, Tuesday is science, because I like to do a mad scientist Monday on these days and then kind of review that information. Wednesdays and Thursdays are when I do social studies, and then Fridays are like a fun Friday. We get to do like a really cool activity based off of science or social studies. So as you can see, a lot of things are linked in here. That brings up all of the videos, worksheets, my actual lesson plans, like all of these fun activities, like even Google Slides up, and I have it right here in one place. I don't have to create weekly Google Slides at all. I just have everything here ready for my disposal. So this is how I set it up as a weekly basis. Now, of course, things happen, and of course, we're gonna have to take out sometimes. And so I have my lesson plans for the week right here. So let me show you how I do that. So I kind of just go more in depth. So I have Monday, I write our objective. Well, our objective is I can identify numbers 11 through 12 and 13 in multiple ways. Then we go into it. So then I link our worksheet, which is the attachment right here, and then I explain what pages we are doing, and then doing an introduction, doing a whole group activity, independent, all of that. So then I just link whatever I can, explain whatever I can. Here's RLA. We have a MyView textbook, which is what we work through. So I'm just explaining different things on the pages because we don't do every single page. Science, I'm explaining our maths. It's not our Mad Scientist Monday. It's technically our Mad Scientist Wednesday, but it's okay. So then if anything, my teacher partners have access to this. I even link down below like all of my reading stations, what we need to do and when. So if for whatever reason I'm out, I can give this to my teachers and they know exactly what to do for the sub. So this has been honestly a lifesaver just because, you know, it's flu season, so kids are out. So I will try to find a way to where I can show and share that information with y'all. So it'll force you to make a copy of it, and then you have how I lay out my lesson plans. Now, I also attach like important information, like if we're doing theme days, if we're doing fall picture retakes, like stuff like that, so I can just be more accountable with it as well. So the reason why I'm extra with lesson planning is because my ultimate goal is to become an instructional coach. So I want to help the teachers look at the TEKs, look at the information, how we can break it down to our supporting and readiness standards, how we can really hit our different level groups, our lows, our mediums, and our highs. So that's kind of like my dream. Like if I have a 5-year goal, that would be my 5-year goal, is to become an instructional coach, or at least go to schooling, receive my master's for it. So fingers crossed, we'll probably go along that struggle bus together, but I don't know, it's kind of fun to me. It really makes me think about the material that's going to be taught to the students. And so that's how I set that up. I think a very big, important aspect is knowing what you're going to teach. Look at those TEKs and look at the vocabulary that's used in it. So let me show you, for example. Okay, so this is a lot of writing, but this is the state of Texas Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills. This is pretty much what teachers go based off of, what they need to teach, how to teach it, when to teach it. So it's the state of Texas provide this for us, and then our districts go in and tell us, hey, let's teach this then, let's teach this later, and pretty much gives us a timeline of when to do that. So the things that we need to look for is these keywords like apply. How can you apply mathematic problems in everyday life? Use. How are we using a problem? Selecting tools. Oh, students need to have real objects and manipulatives to work with counting. They need to create. They need to analyze, display, explain, and justify. So these are the words that I'm looking for. And then I use Bloom's taxonomy. If you don't know what Bloom's taxonomy is, here it is. It's just a gigantic triangle where creating things is at the top of the list. Those are your high achievers. Then you have evaluating, analyze, apply, understand, and remembering. So remembering would be your lower level students, just making sure that they can recall the facts and grasp the basic concepts. So this is very critical and important for your students because you can kind of put them into the different categories and see if they can achieve that taxonomy and go to a higher bracket, or if they need to stay there and maybe kind of brush up on something below it. Sorry for that loud sound there at the end. That was our PA system because somebody was about to get on it. So Bloom's taxonomy is kind of important. I learned it when I was in college, and then I went to the Get Your Teach On conference in 2022, 23. I really have no idea. I think 23 is when I went, when they went to Dallas, and it was pretty much like a ladder that they taught us, and it truly helped me understand how to classify students in it, and then really actually hitting your lower students, your middle students, and your higher students. That way you're not just teaching to the middle, so your higher students can get more concept and challenging questions. Your middle students are being challenged, but they're at the correct level, and then your lower students aren't getting middle because that's obviously too high for them. So you're meeting the students head on to where their levels are at, because you don't want to give students something that they can't handle and grasp. So I always look back to that. I want to know what I'm teaching. I want to know those keywords. I want to know if it's a readiness or supporting standard. And let me show you what I mean by that. So we look at Lead Forward for your readiness and supporting standards. I truly like Lead Forward because it does offer a lot for you and just kind of gives you extra support. Like I went to this Rockin' Review when I taught 3rd grade, and it was so nice. But we're going to go to, wrong one. We're going to go to instructional strategies. And so if you need extra help for movement and discourse, you have all of these activities that you can do with your students. If you need rehearsal and practice, you have all of these. If you need extending thinking questions for the students, you got all of these. Learning from mistakes, you got all of these. Evidence of learning, you got all of these. So these are just ways to get more information from your students to truly dig deep and figure out where the misconception is. So I love this with my whole entire heart. Okay, but what I want to look at is if we're at the home page, you're going to go up here to the top right hand corner. You're going to click on resources, and then we're looking at the snapshot section. So I teach kindergarten, so I'm going to click on math, and then you have all of this. So you have your readiness standards in green, and then you have your supporting standards in yellow. So this pretty much gives you all of the TEKs and it puts it into the specific category you need. So look at the difference between all of the TEKs in this one for supporting standards compared to this one. Okay, your supporting standards are the meat and potatoes and the beef to your stew. You gotta have these put into place first, and these structurally sound to make these up, which is the crock pot stew you're about to eat. So these are the cupcakes. It is the sprinkles, it is the frosting, it is the cupcake mix, and then this is the cupcake itself. Okay, you gotta have these before you can have these over here. So it truly breaks it up and really makes you hit hard onto these, because if the students aren't getting this, they're not gonna get this. They have to have the supporting standards to be able to do the readiness standards. So I will be kind of changing up how I'm doing reading in math groups, because I want to be able to support the students better, because I've kind of been noticing some of my students struggling with the material. Like, of course we've gone over it, of course we've practiced it, but they're still struggling with it. So I'm going to change it up just a little bit. I don't know how I'm going to change it just yet. We are in the middle of testing, so I'll be able to see what specifically the students need to work on. And so when they do get to that specific center, theirs is going to be modified and adjusted to be able to fit their needs instead of a class full needs. So definitely look at Lead Forward. It has been a lifesaver, especially for the older grade levels. You're teaching those STAR tests, you're teaching really hard material, and so if the students aren't getting that supporting material, they're not going to get the readiness standards. Okay, but if y'all do have an instructional coach, I definitely say reach out to them. They have been trained into knowing all of this information. If they don't know it, they typically go find it. I love my instructional coach. I think she is thebomb.com. So very happy with that. So it's a lot. Lesson planning is a lot, and a lot of people don't necessarily see that, because it's not just coloring, it's not just cutting, it's not just knowing the numbers, right? They're having to do a lot more critical thinking behind it. And then as educators, we have to break it up to fit the needs of our students. So you have your low students, you have your medium students, you have your high students, but even then you have to think about the accommodations of each student. What do they need? Who can you pair up and who can you not pair up because they don't flow well? What are your 504s, your IEPs? Like, you have so much things to think about, and it's a lot, and it is overwhelming, especially as a first year teacher. I'm on my 5th year of teaching, and I feel like I kind of have a grasp of it, but it does get better. Just ask for help, ask for support. Like, this, being an educator is not a lone wolf job. I still ask for help. I still ask for help, and I think it's so important to ask for help, because that is when we truly succeed the most. But that is pretty much it. Hopefully this was very informational for y'all, and I kind of helped y'all navigate with the lesson planning. I'm going to try to figure out how I can offer this to you. I might just put it on my Teachers Pay Teacher store and make it free. That way whoever wants it can get it. I will actually do that, because it does force you to make a copy of it. So I will link down below my lesson plan and the link to go for that. So keep an eye out for that, but I am going to go ahead and end off our adventure. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can join our little family. But I love y'all so much, and I cannot wait until our next spooky adventure. Bye guys.